Distinguished colleagues, we are about to start a hearing. Honorable Musa Belete, CNC political leader. Yeah. We're about to start the session. Tell us that when you talk, ask now you will leave. All right, we have the witnesses on the stand, Senator Coker, Senator Yantwine, Senator Finlay. All right, can you sit back? Amen. All right, so we have the Ministry of Education, Deputy Ministers are here. Mr. Deputy Minister, is the Minister in country yet? All right. The Minister of Education is now in country. So we started the process yesterday. So we listened to the Deputy Minister to make his presentation. We send the health team. We have to send the education people. You can go ahead, David. David, approach the president.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, and thank you to the members of the Senate. We, on behalf of the Ministry of Education family, would like to extend our appreciation for accepting
Yeah, Senator Duncan.
Based on my observation, President, scanning through the document for the Ministry of Education, I don't think that it followed the mandate of the Senate, because on the voluntary teachers, I don't see names of those that they claim that they have on payroll or they have absorbed. So I would like them to go and bring the full documentation that the Senate should be able to function.
Okay, so that will be additional to what they want to bring. Let's just take note of that. We have the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education here until we solve these matters. So that's one observation. Mr. Deputy Minister, you got that? Why didn't we get the list? We want names. The names of all of the teachers, volunteer teachers. First, you want to take note? We want the names of all the volunteer teachers in the country per county and institution or school. And on our list, we want a separate list of all of the volunteer teachers that you put on payroll since you took over. And the list of all the volunteers. Because I know there are some who are already on payroll, there are some who are being processed by CSA. And they all should be per county, per school, with their names. Yeah, with their names. All right. So you can go ahead. And they should be here, those documents should be here latest Friday in the office of the Secretary of the Senate for distribution. Latest Monday. Latest Monday.
Thank you, my Protem, and thank you for permitting us to make this presentation. We were asked to provide information on the volunteer teachers that are enrolled. Last year, under the 2025 budget, the legislature provided funding to enroll 1,000 volunteer teachers on the payroll. And then through the ministry internal payroll cleanup process, we're able to create additional 1,148 spaces to include people at the central office. So hence, we were able to enroll 2,112 volunteer teachers on the payroll for 2025. The process for enrolling volunteer teachers on the payroll for 2026 is underway. As you will note, the appropriation was made during the process leading to the approval of the supplemental budget. So we are now working on identifying the number of volunteer teachers that are already part of the over 6,000 volunteer teachers that we identify to see how many of them can be enrolled on the payroll based on the space we have. Additionally, the amount that was provided for the enrollment of volunteer teachers, we opened the 2 model schools in the middle of the fiscal year last year, and we had to handle their payroll on the contingent basis. Up to date, they've not been enrolled on the CSA payroll, so hopefully, with the additional supplemental support, we're going to be able to enroll the teachers at the 2 model schools in Kanta and Banga, and the one that is to be open come next academic year in Kakata. So the document I've presented provides the number of volunteer teachers per county that we've enrolled. For example, in Bomi, you will see that we enrolled 69, in Bon County 150, Babulu 194, Grand Bassa 94, Grand Bassa 80, Cape Mount and 91. That information is available in the presentation that I provided. The total is 2,102 because the request was specifically that we provide volunteer teachers in the counties. So we did not involve the volunteers or others that were enrolled from the central office. That's why you see 2,100.
Yeah. All of Senator Chair and then Senator Tyler.
The reason why we suspended the appearance of the MOH people on Tuesday was because the information they provided us was incomplete. Said institutions, county institutions, and all of that. And what they have there, there's nothing about institutions, it's a county, it's incomplete. So should we listen to them? What is it? So on the same part of
So on Tuesday, we didn't send MOH home. We allow them to present what they have, and then we give them our further instructions. So we're going to do the same with the Ministry of Education. Let's allow them to go through what we have. Senator Tyler.
Pro-Tem colleagues, mine is from the logo. There is more like a PowerPoint presentation. So I want to advise them to go page by page and be allowed to ask questions while we go along. Because, for instance,
I think we should just take note because the presentation not long. Right after the presentation, then we allow the interaction.
Okay.
So yeah, so you just take note on the page. Yes, Mr. Finley.
I have a fundamental issue with this report. I've gone through it. I see that if page the Grand Bassa country, you can hardly read it. It's so small.
You brought fine print.
Fine print. It wasn't, like an insurance company. That means they didn't want to see it. Then the other pages, home country, looking good. Gummy looking good. Wow. See how they are looking good. Well, I just say.
So, Minister, please take note because we have to. This is not one day hearing, so you have to make other corrections.
It's a very serious matter because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at 25 chairs in 8 or 75 chairs.
Senator Duncan.
Good, information here that I'm looking at. We know that both the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, along with Agriculture, are the three major ministries that we focus on during the budget hearing. One thing that I noticed in the document presentation, nothing in here is mentioned about subsidies or grants or whatever support from our international partners for us to be informed on how to work on the budget line.
No, we didn't request that.
But
we didn't have specific request, so at the end of the day, you can make that intervention.
Okay.
And we can include it.
Yeah, then let it be, please.
And we'll include it in there.
Let us know.
All
But the reason I'm stressing, sometimes all ministries need budget. We gave them a lot of money, and then they got millions and millions coming from outside, added, and we never declared to us to know in order to shift budget to other people for help.
So let's keep that for phase 2.
Yeah,
So
they will never tell us.
these hearings will go on until we find all those solutions.
Exactly, please.
Okay. Minister, go ahead.
So that was the summary of the volunteer teachers. The next is where we are on the Excel project. We are at this point trying to identify 6 counties. We've identified 6 counties using the selection criteria in the document where we pilot the foundational learning programs. We have provided information on the selection criteria leading to the selection of the 6 counties where we pilot the program. And those criteria are specified in the presentation that we've given. Among the different bases of selecting, we are looking at teacher capacity and support, assessment of evidence-based reporting, government and community support. So there are several variables that we use to select the counties where the programs will be piloted. So you will see that we've identified 154 schools. Out of that 154 schools, the project delivery team will select 100 from the 6 counties where we will pilot the foundational learning program. Surrounding low for Grand Juliet. Based on the selection criteria.
So you have to read out part of your presentation for the Excel pilot program. List of schools, the 100 schools that you're going to build, right? Pilot program. For the pilot.
We're piloting the foundation learning program in 6 counties. And we identify 6 counties using specific selection criteria. Those criteria are specified in the presentation that you have. And from the 6 counties, you see the different districts where we were able to reach.
What is that foundation learning program? Where is it? You mean from K2 to 6th? So the Excel project is
Typically focus on foundational learning.
so what do you do?
So the Excel project is focused on foundational learning. Among the many things that will happen, we will revise, and we are revising the teaching curriculum for foundational learning, K2 to 6th grade. So we're revising, and those are specified in the project documents. We will renovate or expand or build about 100 school facilities across the country. No, we're talking about the Excel project as a whole. The 6 counties, we are only piloting the foundational learning programs, and based on our experience from there, we'll scale up the program.
Can we take note why he's doing the
across the
presentation?
different counties.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying you will soon finish your presentation, take note, and you will have the interaction. Yeah.
So out of the 6 counties, you will see the different districts on the next page where the schools, the 100 schools that will be selected will be based. You will see that we selected a mix of urban and rural schools to participate in the pilot program, so that when it comes time to scale up the program, we'll be scaling up both across the rural and urban areas. This is the presentation. It's on page 8. It starts on page 8. It starts on page 8. So page 8.
So then, in that case, I agree with Senator Tyler. I think we should ask along the way. Yeah, let's ask along the way.
So I'm presenting from this document. This is the second document.
We can start with a summary of volunteer teachers. Any questions on volunteer teachers? Yeah, Senator Yantuan.
Why if I ask a question first?
Volunteer teachers and the Excel pilot program.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. Mr. Minister, I will start with administrative questions first concerning the Excel project. Where is the management of this project?
Thank you, Honorable Senator. To date, the ministry working with the World Bank, we now have a project coordinator who started 2 weeks ago, and then the entire project team, including the financial manager, the procurement person, the recruitment of those other staff are on the way. But the project coordinator has been selected and she started work.
The reason I ask this question is because we ratified, this legislature ratified the Excel project, and there has been delayed in the start of the project. We all should admit. And this Senate was under tremendous pressure from the executive branch to ratify that document. I can remember Chairman Moy was moving, really moving us to have this thing done. Took almost an hour on this floor to explain the essence of the SS project. To date, we are still in the selection process of the entire management structure of this project. Hasn't even started. And my frustration is that we are learning that the domicile of the management has been the problem. One group in the ministry wants to outsource the management of this project. Another group wants a domicile within the ministry. So that has been the problem. So I want you to clarify that. Come here, let me finish. Mr. Minister, that's why I say I want to ask an administrative question. The details are here with all the fine prints. But But there are issues that have delayed the start of this project. And we have informed our people about the good news, but yet to start because of bickering.
Thank you, Senator. Senator, the way the World Bank project worked, we're not in any disagreement as to how the project will be managed, because under the World Bank project, you have to employ a project delivery team that work at the ministry consistent with the project implementation manual. So that project delivery team, the selection of that project delivery team require a no objection from the World Bank. The World Bank processes got time limit to how long they can take to respond to certain things. So we can go through all, and even the selection process, the World Bank is involved, based on the project document that we agree with them. So there's no conflict as to whether there will be a separate project management team managing the project, because it's required under the project document. And our project team is just starting to be organized. And some of the delay is just because we have to follow the bank bureaucracy to give them the time to review the submissions we make to them and then to offer no objection. Every step, by the way, we require under the project implementation manual to get the no objection from the World Bank.
That's on the ESA project. How soon you think we will start in full swing to start seeing your presence in the different districts and counties? When will that be? When will we be invited, for example, to showcase, the beginning of these projects?
So there are different milestones and timelines in the project implementation manual. I believe before the middle of the year, you will see some movement and actions, because the project delivery team will soon be in place and start working.
I think July for a start.
We're hoping so.
2 months from now.
We're hoping so. The project team will be in place, and you'll see action in the various counties and districts.
Yeah, just quickly on volunteer teachers. I noticed that you bring in a list that you have been instructed by the pro tem to bring, but there's something that we haven't really talked about. I don't know whether it falls with you or with the CSA. Are all volunteer teachers paid the same salary?
No, people are paid based on their credentials.
So
people have C certificate, people have B, some people have bachelor's degree.
So
everyone is not paid.
When you are submitting that list, Mr. Minister, my advice is you should also put the qualification along with the salaries. We need to know the total. Every day people come and say, oh, if you gave us about 7 million, we'll do it, or 10 million, or about 13 million. We don't want about. The Senate has now decided to take volunteer workers, both teachers and nurses, or health workers, seriously, and to end this thing once and for all. I was not even in the Senate. Volunteer teachers and volunteer nurses issue was an issue in this country. So at the end of the day, please put the total, the salary for each of them, and the total, so that this Senate will know exactly if that $10 we need to solve volunteer teacher problem, then it is solved. And my last question to you is, are volunteer teachers cumulative, or we got a set number that when we deal with them, we're done? Because I don't want, when we solve this problem with $10-15 million, and then 2 years down the line, we see another corp of volunteer teachers springing up again as though we didn't solve the problem. And if they are cumulative, what are you doing to stop that?
So, Senator, that's a good question. I think the legislature will be a great help in stopping the issue of volunteer teachers. Some of these come from the situation where representatives or senators build schools while they are sitting. The moment they leave the Senate or the House, they say the school is now turned over to the government. However, during the planning process for building that school, the Ministry of Education is now consulted to discuss how those schools will be manned, where the qualified teachers will come from, where the teaching and learning materials will come from. So by the time the legislators leave and they turn the school over to the ministry, all those they were able to carry on their individual payroll now become the burden of the ministry. Because obviously, the ministry will not allow the students to be out of school because somebody left the school.
Yeah, okay. Let me reclaim my time and put it back to the ministry.
Okay.
I asked for the school map before.
Yes.
Where is the map that Ministry of Education has based on population density, size, and everything that school's supposed to be here? That you gave this legislature so that we who try to fill in the gap as senators and representatives can now look at that map and do it. I gave you an example on my last trip. In Nimba, I went to a chiefdom called Yapi. There's a school that they're constructing there. The next school closer to it is about 2 hours away. But I still told them to talk to the education officer, let him give them clearance that school got to be in that area before I can help to complete the school. What I'm telling you now is, do we have a map based upon when you know that school's supposed to be here and school not supposed to be here? Then we now will not make the mistake of building school and passing it on to you.
Thank you, Senator. And we don't think building school, building school is necessarily a bad idea. We don't believe that. Always saying that when you decide to make intervention in the sector, you should plan that with the ministry. So in the event that you're no longer able to carry the burden, the ministry will be prepared to be able to finance the teaching staff and provide teaching and learning material. So we do not say it's a bad idea. Always saying plenty with us, so we are working together. On the issue of the school mapping, we're currently doing the geo mapping. All of our schools will be identified by geo mapping codes. We should finish that exercise by mid-year, and you will be able to provide that information to you.
That will include the gap. The gaps where you need to have schools. So if any lawmaker want to build a school, they fill in the gap.
Yeah, once they consult us, we'll provide them the information. For example, but Senator, it will provide you the map. You still got to plan with us because in the event.
Mr. Minister, the map should carry the schools that are already, public schools that are already in existence. And then your gaps, places that you need to have schools, but we cannot afford to put those schools there now. If you show those gaps, then lawmakers will know what the gaps are. And if they are giving requests in their different counties, they will look at our map and say whether we should have a school there or not. That will make it easier. And they will still work in consultation if they need to build a school. Okay. But that will be the first, instance. So please put that on your list.
Yes, I'll take
yeah, we need it. Senator Dillon.
How many volunteer teachers do you have in Monrovia County?
In Monrovia 1, we have 147. In Monrovia 2, we have 169 on payroll.
The volunteer teachers we talk about are the ones that are not on payroll yet, for which we are providing money under the supplemental budget for them to be paid. How many unpaid volunteer teachers do you have for Monrovia County?
Senator, I know that the number when we did the analysis across the country of volunteer teachers, we had 6,198.
The minister, how many volunteer teachers not on payroll in Monrovia County?
I don't have that disaggregated.
You were coming to talk about volunteer teachers and how we can accommodate them on payroll.
Yes, I don't have that.
So why don't you have that? We told you to do this thing here county by county. Where is the volunteer list for Monrovia County?
Senator, you will agree that the supplemental budget just passed, and based on what's provided in the supplemental budget, we're now supposed to do the planning for onboarding the additional volunteer teachers that are not on payroll.
Mr. Minister,
because we have more than 4,000 volunteer teachers.
No, if you have 4,000 volunteer teachers or 6,000 across the country, you should know how many teachers. How you wait?
Nobody told you to wait.
I told you wanted me to wait. The thing is, the minister said volunteer teachers are not on payroll. Legislature get money. How many teachers not on payroll in Monrovia County?
Senator, I don't have that number with me right now, and I can provide it.
That means you didn't come prepared
Because
because
Senator, I came prepared and says I don't have the number disaggregated.
maybe
from
you let me
Monrovia.
learn. The purpose of the hearing was to address volunteer teachers issue, especially with the Ministry of Education, county by county, district by district. So if you give me a general figure for the whole country, which is not a bad thing, it will inform us, but we also want a county by county.
Senator will provide that information.
So, Mr. Minister, the communication that was sent to you said that list of all volunteer teachers in schools, districts, and counties. List of volunteer teachers selected for payroll, their school, districts, and counties. Unless you didn't read that communication. But that was a request from the Senate. So please take note, because you still have to present the list of volunteer teachers per county, per school, per district. So the documents we have here, they are incomplete. Thank you, Senator. They don't continue.
I'm taking note.
What's the budget for the education sector for 2026? The budget for 2026.
Minister, Senator, I know the budget for Ministry of Education is 53.8 million outside of the supplemental budget, and the one for the sector is a little over 100 million. I don't have the exact figure for that, but I have the exact figure for the Ministry of Education.
So the budget for education, the sector, I know the Ministry of Education that does the policy and the administration and the teachers and purchase of instructional materials, that's 53 million. My question was, what is the budget appropriation for the education sector? Because you, as the ministry head, the education sector, what is the budget for this year, 2026?
I said I don't have that exact figure right now. I know it's over 100 million, but I don't have that exact figure right now. What I have and I presented was the exact figure for the Ministry of Education. So I can provide you that information.
So the Ministry of Education is mostly concerned about the Ministry of Education and not the entire sector.
Not quite, Senator, because we are the sector lead for the entire sector.
But you don't know the sector
that I
budget.
don't have the budgetary number. No, that does not necessarily indicate that we are not responsible.
I take it as such that you concern more.
Senator, I don't agree.
Is that for you to agree or not? Unless you want for a back and forth argument. Because you are the head of the sector as a minister. You should know the figure budgetary provision for the sector, out of which the ministry budget comes.
I do not disagree.
Thank you. The Ministry of, the education sector budget for this year is 168 million. Correct?
I wouldn't say correct.
168 million for the education sector, out of which the Ministry of Education has 53 million. Do you know out of the 168 million, what is appropriated for the University of Liberia?
No, Senator, I don't know. We have to deal with the Ministry of, with the University. We will look at the figures. Those are not figures that go around in my head, Senator.
But you are coming for hearing.
Well, Senator, we will have to deal with the Ministry of Education. We have the documents available to us. We have the numbers available to us. I don't go around with the numbers.
I don't want, I was doing, Mr. Minister, I don't want to sound like I'm using power, but I think you're becoming arrogant. You already informed about what you hear and you want to be arrogant. I will not contest it.
I apologize, Senator.
When the sector heads come, I will not ask how much the sector budget if we have one of the sector institutions here. But you are the head of the sector. That is why I'm asking. And the reason I ask these questions deliberate is for also public education information. The education sector of our country has 168 million of the budget appropriated. 40 million for the University of Liberia. Last year it was 35. We increased it by another 5 million. The year before it was 33. Last year, Education Ministry was 15 million. Still, that's what I'm coming from. All the people know no budgetary money for this service.
Senator, you done?
Senator,
Senator Finley.
Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues.
Baba, Senator Chair. I put the names down here.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Pro Tem.
Madam Pro Tem.
Thank you,
Your friend here or two.
Mr. Minister, what exactly is this? I think Senator Luque asked you.
so that document
Yeah.
is that the document we use to identify which schools are critical to be renovated in order of priorities.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
What is the meaning of, because there's some characters here I don't understand, so maybe you can give me clarity before I start. What is ALP?
Alternative learning
Page
program.
18. Huh? I'm going to page 18.
Accelerated learning program.
Accelerated what?
Learning program.
Grand Bassa County. Functional toilets. Please explain that to me. What is that?
So when we were looking for schools to be renovated,
Yeah.
we look at several criteria.
So the
One, the
renovation.
school has washroom that are functional but not functional.
Oh, okay.
And obviously there are some schools that have washrooms that were not functional. And that will factor in whether the schools are selected or not on the priority basis.
Okay, in our public schools.
Yes.
93% in Grand Bassa County. Strong.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Minister, I just got back and I had probably 20-something town hall meetings in the rural areas. And I can say to you that I want to go with you and me, need to go to see some of the public schools. Because I tried to use the toilet and I couldn't make it. But anyway, let's get back to the real issue while you're here. This we have to have a discussion on. Okay. The issue of volunteer teachers. Does the Ministry of Education have the authority to hire teachers?
The way the hiring process works in the public sector, the sector ministry will identify those that are to be hired, and they will pass the name on with their personnel action notices to CSA to do the onboarding on government payroll and onto the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, let me rephrase my question.
Okay.
Does the ministry vet those who are supposed to be hired as teachers?
Yes. Public school teachers.
Public school teachers.
Yes.
The issue of volunteer teachers.
Yes.
Does the ministry vet volunteer teachers before they become volunteer teachers?
I would say no, and I explain that people become volunteer teachers without the knowledge of the ministry.
Minister, please, I ask for your explanation. Now, you have you do the vetting. So how do you get volunteer teachers on in your statistics?
That's what I was trying to explain.
No, let me ask my question, Minister. Calm down. Okay. You are recognizing volunteer teachers. You recognize them. Have you vetted them?
Can I answer now, Senator?
Yeah.
So when we took over,
No, have you vetted them?
yes, sir. And here's how we did. We took over, went across the country and identified and vetted volunteer teachers and put them in different categories. I said there were over 6,000 of them. Some of them had credentials and some of them did not have credentials. Some of them had college degree but did not have teaching credentials. So we've categorized them and we are now onboarding them. We have the document, we have the assessment report for all of the 6,198 volunteer teachers that we identify. However, as I said, the issue of volunteer teacher will not stop with our assessment because there are schools being built outside of the purview of the ministry where people are hiring teachers on their own and they become volunteer teachers when those schools are turned over to the government.
Does the Ministry of Education have the authority to build schools, establish schools?
Public schools, yes.
Does the Ministry of Education have the authority to accept private schools,
We have
to turn them to public schools?
Here's how it works, Senator. When a school is built and it's clearly serving the Liberian children, and that school, for some reason, the builder cannot continue to fund the school, the Ministry of Education will not allow our children to not be in school. So when they say they turn the school over to the ministry, we have to move in to ensure that learning doesn't stop.
So that means the responsibility for education in this country lies with your entity.
Yes, sir.
And your entity from year in, year out have volunteer teachers. You're supposed to vet them. You're supposed to provide a means to civil service for employment. And we continuously see that. You got a budget of $150-something million plus $8-point-something million from the supplementary that we just approved. You got $8 million now for volunteer teachers, 8 or 7-point-something million dollars, maybe 8, right?
Senator, the correct figure in the supplemental budget is 1.7 to onboard additional volunteer teachers.
I'm seeing what you got.
Specifically for volunteer teachers, 1.7.
1.7.
Yes.
What did you get totally in the supplementary pay?
In the supplemental, we got 7,302,000.
So you got 7+ million.
Yeah, but for different reasons. And we're
For
talking
different
volunteer
reasons.
teachers. Yes.
Which is more important right now? The education of our children or all your different things? Because you got 158 million.
So, Senator, the additional. So,
160-something million
Senator,
dollars.
all the categories of activities that the supplemental is going to, they are all important to the education of our children. For example, we get 1.3 going to school feeding. It's important for our children to be fed, to be in the right frame of mind to learn. We got 1.7 going to volunteer teacher enrollment, and we have a perennial issue of teachers being underpaid. So we got 300,000 to step up the teachers' pay so that they reach an appreciable level.
So now that 300,000 you are saying to us, how many teachers are there in the country? Total.
A little over 14,000.
Over 14,000.
Yes.
Divided by 300,000.
But they're not all underpaid, Senator.
Oh, okay.
They're not all underpaid.
And that 300, how many you say?
372, 3,271. 3 million.
Okay. Now I just want to go back.
Okay.
What is your plan and your vision of volunteer teachers that you are going to put on the payroll?
Okay. So, Senator, as I was explaining, I said out of the over 6,000 volunteer teachers that we identified, they were all not credentialed.
Yeah.
At the moment, we're trying to put as many credentialed volunteer teachers as possible on the payroll. We are hoping that over time, we can we can minimize the issue of volunteer teachers. But to say we eradicate it, we have to do it in concert with the legislature. Because most of the interventions outside of the sector are done.
Now let me ask, the reason why my whole thing is, are you going to recognize volunteer teachers outside the list you have today as you sit here?
The assessment will continue.
Tomorrow, Pastor got,
Mr. Minister, I gotta wait for the question.
Pastor has
Yeah.
5 volunteer teachers in Bokistan. You got that on your record. Tomorrow morning, we'll wake up and Bokistan has 10 volunteer teachers that you have recognized. Do you have any mechanism in place to check volunteer teachers from coming to public schools without credentials?
Yeah, so Senator, as I said, at the moment we have 6,190.
No. Let me rephrase my question.
Okay.
Do you have any mechanism in place to stop volunteer teachers increasing in this country?
Senator, let me explain it this way. There are a couple of issues.
Yes
here.
or no?
Yes, but let me explain
Okay.
why the issue will persist,
Okay.
Senator.
You
For
answer-
example, we hire a teacher in Bokistan. He's on government payroll, and he abandons the classroom,
Yeah.
right? And the community decides, say, okay, one of our son here is from college, he doesn't have a job, so he will be helping. And the community now accommodates that son. That's some of the ways they become volunteer teachers. We do not put them there.
So who
So you
is
don't
it?
have control of the system.
No, we do.
No,
You don't have control of the
Minister,
system.
this is exactly the point. That you, as the ministry, is encouraging volunteer teachers in this country.
Senator,
And let me say this: you have district officers, you have educational officers. They've got to be. Do you have a policy in place to address volunteer teachers in this country?
yes,
Then why will you allow my community to come and bring teachers?
we do. But we have to be realistic with the situation.
I'm being realistic. I
So-
understand this. Minister, don't think we are all senators that are going to the rural areas. We know the problem in these rural areas. And there's no senator here will tell you they know that they haven't been to the interior and the people in the interior are feeding teachers.
I have
and
3
paying
more
teachers.
seconds over.
Yeah. So, Minister, I will stop here, but don't think we are not aware of this problem. We're fully aware. Because this is a problem that each and every one of us face with when we go on recess. Each and every one of us. Volunteer teachers, public schools. If I carry a friend with me, it will be embarrassing to go to public schools in Basel. No roof, no chairs, no benches, a blackboard, no blackboard. So we have a problem. Then the volunteer teachers adding on to it, and there's no policy to check it. Not because the community wants it, because the community doesn't pay your salary, or they pay our salary indirectly, but they don't make the policy for you. And you have to make a policy to check volunteer teachers in this country, to make sure that the teachers that are in the classroom are qualified. It's up to you. It's your ministry.
We agree, Senator.
So why would now the community decide to bring one of their sons to teach, and you say it's okay, and then you adopt them to say they are volunteer teachers?
Senator, that's not where I was going. I was explaining about how the volunteer teachers come out.
So, all right, thank you, Mr. Minister.
Minister.
You just confirmed that anybody can bring in volunteer teachers because you don't have a system to track what's happening in the schools.
My brother, I don't know what I said.
So,
I don't quite agree.
so if you say the community can bring in a son, and then there will be an additional volunteer teacher, who controls that?
Madam Senator, I said we have capped based on our assessment volunteer teachers in the country at 6,198. I would say realistic with 6,198. The ministry is not going to continue to recognize additional volunteer teachers, but even the 6,198, we are not being able to accommodate them on the payroll because last year the legislature provided money for 1,000 And
The
we have
minister,
5,000.
how the senator was concerned about the increment of volunteer teachers.
We now added additional volunteer teachers to that.
So how can you
and we are
stop
not
our
going-
community from adding government teachers to these schools?
But we're not going to add any additional volunteer teachers on the 6,000.
That's contradiction of their own statement.
Is the policy, do you
Senator
have a
Chair.
policy in place?
Yes.
Senator Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, President. Mr. Minister, you guys spoke to something that a bit of concern to me.
Okay.
Serious concern. And I raised that before here. One of the assurances of your ministry. That has to do with teachers. Teachers were assigned to the county you restored. If you're just talking about abandonment, teachers abandon their posts. You assign those teachers to the counties. And I agree with you. That's precisely the problem that is creating all of the volunteer teacher situation around the country. And it's in every county. And because of that, today in my county, I can tell you for a fact, check it out. There are more volunteer teachers than there are employed teachers. And you know why? You assign a man today, you employ him here in Monrovia, you send him there, you want to get on payroll, you want to get on government payroll, he doesn't have a job, you want to get on government payroll, you do somebody minister, you do somebody care, you know, I want a job, I want to sign him. You got to sign him, doesn't want to be there. After a year, after a few months, after 2 years, your CEO, your GO, whatever arrangement they make, you get your transfer to Monrovia or to some place within the proximity of Monrovia. So you can't. Or you go to school. Yeah. You leave the classroom. Are you getting me? You leave the classroom, he's not there. You let him go. Without first making sure that there is a replacement for him. You are creating a problem.
So, Senator, let me explain.
No, I'm not done yet. You are creating a problem. Because if you know that teacher S is in the school and he's leaving, you must first make sure that there's somebody there to replace him. If you don't do that, then that gap is created, that void is there, that void has to be filled. That's why I have so many volunteers, some of them very much unqualified.
Senator, let me explain why we
I'm
are
not done yet, please. I'm not done yet. Very much unqualified. Because there are no teachers, and like you rightly said, the community will come and say, hey, my son, he is a high school graduate or less. Go and fill in the boy. He goes there and says that he's a volunteer teacher. I don't know why you have definition of volunteer teacher. He goes there and says that. Because the man, the teacher, the woman was supposed to be there that. If you check your payroll for silo, check your payroll for the county, there are so many teachers, but they are not there. Some of them, my brother around here, check what's around. Some of them have no assignment, but at the end of the month they get paid. Please look at that. I don't know what kind of supervision you people do. What kind of supervision you do? You have education officers, you have district education officers, and these things are happening. When we go around, our people cry on us. You know what it means when our people say the government is working? You know what that means? Can you please say that first before I continue?
Yes, I do.
In the context of the Ministry of Education,
yes.
you say the government is working.
Senator,
what does that mean?
Let me explain.
Restrain yourself to this one first, then we'll continue.
We're making sure our children are learning and our teachers are trained and they are appropriately assigned.
We are providing quality education,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
is that happening? Can
So-
you say that the ministry now?
Yes,
Where we took the ministry from, yes, Senator, let me explain. So the issue of teachers abandoning the classroom, we met it there. What we've done. I told you that last year the state provided funding for 1,000 volunteers through our payroll cleanup exercise, getting rid of teachers who abandoned the classroom. We managed to create additional 1,000 plus pay space. That exercise is continuing. So we're taking steps to ensure without getting on government payroll and abuse the privilege. So we've already taken steps. Last year we dropped over 1,000. This year we're going to drop additional 1,000. On the issue of the DEOs, collaborate with teachers to agree assignment. That matter has been arrested. No DEO has the authority to unilaterally or CEO unilaterally assign or reassign any teacher. If there's a reason for a teacher to be assigned, the DEO or CEO are instructed to make the recommendations to the ministry, and the ministry will investigate and see whether there's value to the recommendations they are making. So we've also arrested that situation where DEOs and CEOs can get unilaterally transfer teachers. Okay, that we don't have the authority at the district or the county level to make that kind of decision. But we knew they were abusing it. So we've arrested that. So we're taking steps to improve the situation. Exactly, we're moving people who are abandoned the classroom payroll. That's the opportunity to additional qualified volunteer teachers on the payroll. That's 2. We've stopped DEOs and CEOs from taking unilateral decisions without the approval.
That was clear. Senator Sokwe, followed by Senator Conan.
So, Mr. Minister, I want to go firstly to your Excel FPL panel. I see the list of schools, 100 schools, to be selected from the FPL panel. Number of schools per county. What does that mean? Senator, I said we're piloting the foundational learning program in 6 counties. Those 6 counties are identified. We're also piloting them across different school districts. Those school districts are identified. Through the school assessment, we identified 154 schools. We are to select 100 out of the 154 schools to pilot the foundational learning program, after which we'll use the experience to scale up the program across the different counties.
Because, man, why just pilot these programs, and especially the number of schools in only the 6 counties?
Why? Senator, any program that you're undertaking, you need to do a pilot so that you can learn.
So if you get your piloting, say 10 schools in River G, and 20 schools in the, but all the counties will receive a pilot program, would that suffice?
Senator, I don't know whether the how would do it, but maybe it would, but I don't know whether the how would do it. Because the pilot is intended so that when you scale up, the mistakes and the mistakes were made during the pilot stage will not be transferred during the scale up, and the lessons we learn can be programmed across the different counties. It is intended to enhance the execution of the program.
So you will give one county 40. Then you will give 0. Local county 46. What's the basis of your selection?
But Senator, the basis of the selection is in the presentation. We'll give the different criteria upon which we'll do the selection.
So all the other counties not qualified?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Not for the
Out of
pilot.
the 15 counties?
Not for the pilot, according to him.
Yeah, so you give one county 40 schools, you give another county 20 and 46, and all the other counties, they're not qualified to.
How the pilot will work?
Senator, let me explain.
We use the pilot, we even get plea.
If you see the presentation,
That means what country
we
you
have
come from.
selection criteria.
That means what country you come from. Huh? What's your country?
I'm from one country.
The minister from what country?
But you will know that.
Where the minister proper come from? From local country. Look at the list, you will know where the projects going, where the people come from. Where the tell me, where the other deputy minister come from. And the other man from bombing. So yeah, still from local born and bombing.
So Protein.
Bossman, I beg you, don't answer that question. We got to look at it here. Yeah, don't answer that, Becky. Let me
But you can tell me you got 154 schools benefiting from pilot program and the other counties ain't got no qualification. No county in the southeast, not even Grand Bassa, not even in Nima, as big as Nima is. Then one county get 40 schools, another county 46. It's concerning.
So, yes, man, I continue.
Yeah, so they have to present an entire report on how the criteria and how the selection was done. Please take note, you have to present a report on how the selection was done for the pilot project, including the requirements.
We're going to relook at the thing, Bossman.
Follow up.
Yeah, we're going to relook at it.
That follow up.
Okay.
I want to follow up.
Oh, my question?
Yeah, I want to follow up.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you have to decentralize. Yeah, everybody should benefit. All the countries.
Mr. Minister. Protein, follow up, please.
Yes, Senator Tyler.
Mr. Minister.
No, you said I'm not done.
I'm following up on it.
Okay, we'll come back
You
to
want to
you.
pick it back, yeah.
I'm following up. I'm getting confused. What is pilot? So, Senator, when we want to execute a program across the country, we select a sample of the counties, small, isn't it? So that it's a trial. Yes. So we're trying it. Yes, already. That's what I want to. So it is a trial. Yeah. Couldn't it be tried in the 15 counties? I said, but in this case, the program doesn't call for us piloting across the 15 counties. There's a project, Senator, there's a project implementation manual that defines all these things.
Feed them.
But we'll prepare the manual.
We should ratify.
We'll prepare the manual.
We are those stupid people. Mr. Minister, we can look at the thing again, I beg you.
Across all the 15 counties.
Yes.
All the counties. Across all electoral districts. We have said that here many times.
Yeah, let the pilot go there too. Yeah, we too, one plane, one airplane. So, Bossman, there is. I want to piggyback. Hello. Protein, am I protected?
If they haven't started the pilot program, they will include all the other countries.
Correct.
They will come by the minister will come. There's a whole new hearing on the pilot program, ESA pilot program. Secretary, take note because there has to be a separate communication on that. They have to justify why only 6 counties benefiting. The criteria, whether you have a manual, who wrote it.
Why Bob can get 40?
Yeah.
Why?
So they have to justify that. What are you got?
No. I have one question, and people picking banging on them, including you, man. So, Bossman, with respect to the volunteer teachers, there's a scenario in River G that Senator Chi also spoke about, where you have people who are not on payroll are the one in the classroom because they are volunteering. All of the people who are on payroll are schooling. They won't transfer to this county. They won't transfer to do this. They won't go further their education. They're asking you for excuses and leaving the classroom vulnerable. So people are compelled to volunteer. Will there ever be an end to this volunteering thing?
The answer is yes, Senator.
I was about to provide some, what they call it. Senator Philly asked you if there was a plan. Is it possible for us to have a pre-nuptial agreement with these people before we put them on payroll? That when you are when you are you have gotten on the payroll, wherever you are assigned, you will be there up to 2 or 3 years before you can even request any transfer or whatever of education. Is that something to be considered, sir? Senator, yes, we have the authority to ensure that teachers are assigned in their assigned areas. And if they don't, we also have the authority to remove them from the payroll, as we have already started doing. Chief, sometimes it's easy to say. On a very serious note, there are many classrooms in my country. I hear Senator Fina again talking about Basel. Basel is right here, easily accessible. If I start walking now, I'll reach it tonight. River G is not like that. And there are far distant places in River G how to reach. There are no teachers. There are one teacher in one school from first grade to 6th grade. One. That teacher is the principal, the vice principal, everything. This is real, G. This is serious. This is serious. And quite frankly, I'm putting it to you to ask this so that you come and see. Go to these places. Go to these places and see what's happening. Right now, it will take 10 hours to read that. You're not staying long. So let's reach there and let's see what happens. Because we will continue talking about volunteer teachers and volunteer teachers. Do you have a fixed amount of money that this legislature can give you that will cut this whole volunteer team up? Is it possible? Yes. So, for now, the number of volunteer teachers that we put on the payroll, it costs around $579,547.53 per month. Annually, that's about 6.9 million of the people we've put on the payroll. We have an outstanding of a little over 4,000. If all 4,000 were qualified, we put them on the payroll, it will cost around 1.021 million per month. That would be around 12,000.12 million.
Mr. Minister, so you have a balance of over 4,000 volunteer teachers
from the 6,
not on payroll, from the 6,000.
From the 6,000.
All right. Have you done the assessment to see who are the teachers? Because by now you should have an assessment report.
Senator, we have the report. And what is the
you have done the assessment of the 4,000 teachers?
Yes, we
so
know
all of them are qualified?
No.
Okay, so
but that's the stats that we have for the number of volunteer teachers that we've already identified. And we know the cost per month and the cost annually.
No.
That's what if we were to put all of them there.
Mr. Minister, 1 minute, Senator. You have 6,000 plus volunteer teachers.
Yes.
You already put some of them on payroll.
Yes.
You have around 4,000 teachers left.
Yes.
The 4,000 that you have left, are they all qualified for payroll?
No.
Or have you done the assessment to qualify them?
Yes. Can we
get that report? The assessment
we'll have
report.
The report.
And please take note of that. Secretary of Senate, please take note of that. So we have the assessment report of the 4,000 teachers, so we know the ones that are qualified and how much money we will need to add them. So, you want to follow up, Senator Nukwe?
Yes. So, Mr. Minister, I guess that.
So quickly, you order the 4,000 volunteer teachers. How many you think can be absorbed from the 1.7 given you in the supplemental?
Senator, they are all at different salary levels. We'll have to be able to do that calculation, and we're doing it right now. We're doing that calculation.
Okay, so the funding that was given for the supplementary, that will recruit people from the 4,000?
Yes, that's 1.7 that we'll use to add additional.
Okay, so you will include that in a report. Yes, you will include that in a report. But you already done the assessment. How you want to recruit them now? You have the money already.
But we have
the budget for it.
We have the report. We know who's qualified and who's not qualified. Because we did the assessment.
But you say you haven't done the assessment.
No.
You have the report.
We assess the PDs in the entire country.
All right.
We identify 6,198. We put the Senate or the legislature provided.
So then you're not understanding the question because I asked if you assess the 4,000
We've done it. We have the report. We know the credentials. We know who qualified and who is not qualified. We have it.
Those who qualify, that is what we're asking for.
All right, so let's get that list.
We'll get this aggregate that and provide it, Senator.
Yeah, let's get that list and see how many people benefit from that new budget line and what will be left.
Okay.
Okay. Senator Cornell, followed by Senator Coker.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. The colleagues have asked most of the questions. I just wanted to make a quick intervention. Deputy Minister Fogba, thank you. Knowing you for long, but this issue is important. When I was a child going to school, all of us in this room, we went through the same school system, still the same problem. And I was fortunate to become Minister of Finance at one point in this country for 4 years. We dealt with this volunteer teacher issue. I recall when Minister Tappe was Minister of Education, we put together a sector working group comprising of UNDP, USAID, and all the internationals to help us deal with this problem. 2 observations. Most of the payroll padding in the public sector is in the health and education sector. This volunteer teacher business is perennial, and I think it's time to take it on. I just wanted to encourage you to read the Ministry of Finance Budget Execution Report for 2005. Specifically, I don't want to bore my colleagues specifically. Yeah, last year's budget. Last year, this legislature gave the education sector $119.7 million. I think Senator Dupo gave us that information the other day. The ministry is reporting that out of that amount, they were able to disperse 97.8%, almost all of the money that we appropriated to the sector, to the, through the ministry. So, year on year, to be dealing with this one problem, you can understand where we're coming from. Our counties, Senator Kane and myself county, are classified as 100% rural. There's no school in my county with electricity. No school there with internet service except the one that we are providing through Starlink now. So my question to you is, in a quest for quality education, can you tell this plenary the key indicators for the delivery of quality education services to our children in the Ministry of, based on the Ministry of Education's own criteria?
Can I answer now, Senator?
Yes.
Thank you. And I share your frustration regarding the issue of volunteer teachers across the country. And I understand that this issue has been going on for a long time. We're determined to stop that. We're determined to stop that. We at the Ministry of Education want to make sure when our children go to school, they are in a safe and secure environment. They have qualified teachers that will not molest or harass them. We want to make sure that when our girls are harassed or molested, they can go and talk to a guardian counselor. We want to make sure our children are reading and know math at the appropriate grade level. We want to make sure that when they leave here, they're able to compete with their compatriots outside of here, whether in the region or across the country. We are doing our level best to deliver that quality to them.
Thank you. Mr. Minister, in our county, Papulu, we have, according to your own statistics, we have about 16,000 students. We have 449 teachers for 16,000 students in the county. Out of the 449 teachers that we have in the county, 250 of them are volunteer teachers who have not been vetted for their qualification. How do we, the senators here, how can we assure the parents that our children in the county are getting quality education based on what you just told us?
So, Senator, if you say they have not been vetted, or whether you meant they have not been enrolled on payroll or they are not being vetted, because the vetting exercise went across the entire country, including Babu. But what are all?
Okay, let's assume you vetted them.
Yes.
Among the 449, you, according to your report here, you got 91. I think 91 on the payroll.
Of the volunteer teachers enroll in the first phase.
In the first phase. Now, when does the second phase start? Because I remember in 2024, we also made appropriation in the budget for the volunteer teachers. Likewise in 2025. We in 2026 now, we got only 91 from our county.
So, Senator, the second phase, that's the appropriation that was made in the supplemental budget. Our process starts now and it's on our way. When you get back to Bapodu, I want you to tell the people that some of the volunteer teachers that are qualified will be onboarded on the government payroll during this phase because it's going to go across the country.
Are you suggesting then that?
No, so that's why we need to get the list of volunteer teachers per county per school. And we need to get that latest Monday. So all the senators can have a copy of their list per county. When they go to their counties, they can be one of the people who will provide the oversight for you. Those lists should even be at the different schools. It should be made public. That will stop teachers from just leaving the schools. Yeah, everybody in the school should know their teachers and the principal. The schools don't know them, so they can leave anytime and bring somebody to volunteer for them. Some teachers are taking pay and giving something to the people who are volunteering on their behalf. So it's a whole system, a setup that we need to disrupt, and make sure we put it on the right path.
You just need it.
Pro tem.
Yeah, so if we have on Monday, every county must have the list of total volunteer teachers who are not on payroll, those who are on payroll, and those who are being processed. We need that.
All right, Senator.
Senator Coker, followed by Senator Nukwe. He's still coming in.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem.
Yeah.
The Minister of Education acting. I would like to know, do you have a blueprint for the Ministry of Education as it relates to schools in town, clan, children, cities? And if so, what are the prerequisites to establish a kindergarten school, elementary school, junior high school, and senior high school? No, college is higher education. And more besides, voluntary teachers, I think it is at their own volition, having passion for teaching and to impart knowledge into their brothers and sisters, children or their children. They decide to strive. But you as an institution in a particular given location or locale, when it comes to elementary school, how many teachers comprise of that? How many teachers do you have as elementary school, junior high school, and senior high school? And then lastly, there are issues that has to do with many at times teachers that die more than 2, 4, 5 years, 10 years, their names are still on the payroll. And those names is something that may compromise allegedly between the DEO and the teacher in that particular school. Whereas there are others who are not on payroll but striving to go every morning to teach. What are you doing to curtail these things? Question.
Thank you, Senator. Let me take the last one. Regarding the information about teachers dying and staying on the payroll, maybe it happened before, and I can debate that. I can tell you that is not happening now. When we get the information, when the teacher dies, we have an obligation to report that information to NASCO. As an entity, we have an obligation. And we also have an obligation to remove them from the payroll. So maybe it happened before, but such is not happening now. As soon as we get the information about the passing of a teacher, that teacher is removed from the payroll and his information is given to NASCOP so that the family can get the desired benefit that they deserve. So we rest in that. On the issue of whether we have standards for building school, yes, we have infrastructure standards, and we have requirements for teachers at the elementary, junior high, and senior high level. For example, to teach at the junior high level, you must at the elementary level, you must possess a C certificate. At the junior high level, you must possess a B certificate. So a C certificate holder is not qualified under our laws and regulations to teach at the junior high level. So yes, we have standards for infrastructure. We have standards for teachers. We also have requirements in the teaching load, the amount of hours that teachers can teach. So we don't have a situation where one teacher is overburdened or underutilized to put a burden on other teachers. We have standards for all of that. So yes, we have all those standards at the ministry. Senator.
A follow-on has to do with the issue of a voluntary teacher. The volunteers who come to help the system, you say, and by definition, there are people who may not be necessarily trained in a particular area, but they are educated and may be specified in different locales, but because of the person they come in. Now, you talk about absorbing them in the system. And you say there are people that you place in category based on their qualification. Do you have a structure and institution put into place that they go through internalization before absorbing them in the system, or you absorb them in the system before you internalize them?
So let me explain it this way. Senator, I explained that when we took over, we did an assessment of the volunteers, teachers across the country, the entire country, and we profiled them. So we have the profile of all the 6,198 volunteer teachers.
So the 6,198 teachers are the teachers who are already qualified.
No, those are teachers who have been profiled.
Profile.
Yes. So we do not automatically accept you as a volunteer teacher because you step up to serve your community. That doesn't make you a volunteer teacher. What we're also doing at the ministry level, we're strengthening the monitoring and evaluation. We're in the process, and we'll be coming to the legislature to fund funding so that we can fund motorbikes 125 for our DEOs so that they're able to carry out effective monitoring and supervision. Those are some of the drawbacks that we have. Because at the moment, our DEOs do not have bikes. The cars our CEOs are riding, they are all over 6-7 years old. So a couple of times we've put in the budget requests for motorcycles for DEOs and vehicles for CEOs and ministry staff. The funding has not been provided at least for the last 2 years that I have been there. So we are going to come back to the legislature to help us to strengthen monitoring and evaluation so that we can curtail some of those issues at the district and the county level.
Senator Coker, do you have the monitoring and evaluation plan?
Yes, Senator.
Have you sent any to the legislature?
Senator, I don't know whether we're being required to send it.
So how do you expect us to support you if you don't have, you gotta have a plan here?
Yes, when we come to petition, we will bring the plan in as part of our petition so that we'll talk to the Senator over pro tem and the Senate.
Mr. Deputy Minister,
yes.
Please send your monitoring and evaluation plan to the chair on education, Senator McGill, latest Monday. 35 copies. We are interested in standardizing public schools. It's not just the work of the ministry. And we have oversight and we make appropriation. So if you don't send us your plan, when we are appropriating, that makes it difficult for you to get what you need. So these hearings are also good for your ministry. Continue, Senator Coker.
The issue, if I listen to your explanation in chief, you may mention that you have put a system into place where DEO and CEO are not authorized to make changes or transfer in the county. Don't you think it's a bureaucratic bottleneck?
No, we don't, because our own assessment revealed that the authority given them at that time were abused. You also alluded to that, and some of the senators have said that DEO were colluding with teachers to transfer them to places where they prefer. Our interest is in providing quality education and strengthening the system. We do not want to provide opportunities for DEOs to connive with their friends and deprive our students instructional hours. So we do not see it as that. To the extent where we're able to carry that authority back after we shall have taken the appropriate actions to strengthen and put safeguards across the system, we may be able to do that. Right now, we have to arrest the route in the system.
Lastly, Madam, I think my word of caution would be that while it is true that we are desiring to hire people who are volunteers in our learning institution, equally so we advise that there must be an institution set that when these individuals are vetted and identified, go through the training, then they can be assaulted. If not, you will flood the payroll and the Ministry of Education with unqualified people. Thank you.
So let me clarify that. I said out of the 6,198, we know the ones that are qualified and the ones that are not qualified. For example, some of the players we have, no, but we don't have an obligation to them per se. So what some of the players we have, they're college graduates among the volunteer teachers that do not have the pedagogical training. So we're planning in-service training to give them the pedagogical training because they already have the bachelor's degree to qualify them. We're not just putting people on the payroll because they are necessarily on the volunteer list because of the assessment. So we are taking the appropriate steps to make sure those who get on the payroll are qualified and we are getting value for money.
All right, Senator Nukwe, followed by Senator Dapa and Senator Poto. Senator Nukwe, you're not recognized.
Thank you.
You're not recognized, Senator Nukwe.
So, Senator Nukwe, piggyback on my.
No, but nobody coming for you to piggyback on it. He has not said anything, so where you piggyback?
Can I ask this one question?
Madam President, thank you. Okay. Thank you, Madam. Let me just conclude it now, please. So, just Mr. Fopa, I heard you said that you had or you profiled 6,000 volunteer teachers.
Yeah, a
little over 6,000 volunteer teachers, and you onboarded 1,000 or a little over 1,000 from.
We onboarded 2,000 and 2,000.
No, I'm coming. You onboarded 1,000 plus from money given to you.
1,000.
1,000, yes. Then you also onboarded additional 1,000 plus through your payroll cleanup exercise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you also indicated that subsequent payroll cleanup exercise is ongoing.
It's ongoing.
So I'd like to know the way you did your payroll cleanup exercise, or to what extent did you go in terms of doing the payroll cleanup exercise? Because you are doing a second payroll cleanup exercise. I just want to know whether this second payroll cleanup exercise will complete the entire payroll cleanup exercise, or there will be an additional phase.
Senator, I cannot say it will complete because people are abandoning the classroom every day. So I cannot say we will complete the exercise today. Everybody else will be on good behavior. So we don't want people abandoning the classroom and shortchanging our children with instructional hours. So there was going to be a continuous monitoring to ensure that those who are assigned at particular schools are at the schools where they are being paid for. So yes, it's going to be continuous. It's not going to stop.
So that goes to say for the first time when you did the exercise, you completed the entire payroll. You went through the entire payroll.
Yes.
Okay. I also like to know if there are arrangements, because I know the schools collect fees, registration fees, or some amount of money for fees. And those amounts are left with the schools to use maybe for administrative purposes. I'd like to know whether any standard has been set
that will require funds collected by those schools to compensate volunteer teachers to some extent. Whether you have any policy like that?
Senator, the answer is no. When we took over, the practice was that they will collect the fees at the schools across the country and send it to the Ministry of Education. And then the ministry will decide what amount of that fee to go back to the schools. We felt that wasn't right. So we passed a policy that the fees will remain at the school to help maintain the school and take care of expenses. So the way it is done now, if the principals have need to spend the money, they have to get clearance. For example, if you want to change those, you got to submit a BOQ, and maybe the pictures of that is going to be vetted, then we approve for you to spend the money on your own school. No money coming from schools and coming to central office, and then we abandon that process. We think the fees that are collected, particularly registration fees, should stay in the schools for the betterment and the improvement of the schools. That's what we're doing now.
Okay, so I'm concerned. Senator Koga spoke about the same thing. I'm concerned about that, taking the authority from DEOs or CEOs to transfer teachers from one school to another. In the context, you said that was abuse. But is that the only way you can remedy that problem? By taking the authority from them?
So, Senator, I don't know whether we have quite taken the authority from them, because the recommendation, the power to recommend the removal or the transfer of anybody still rests with the DEO to the CEO, then on to the Deputy Minister for Instruction. So we're getting putting additional layer of checks. So we have not taken the power from them.
Okay, so I'm concerned because the system is fully centralized. And this is some of the reasons why you were able to uncover more than 1,000 names on your payroll of individuals who were in the schools, because I'm quite aware, and these are issues that came to me before, that people even came to me and talk about it before. They had their relatives, their friends at the Ministry of Education. They would place on the payroll and say, go and do whatever you are doing. That happened in the past. I'm not saying it's happening now. I'm quite sure those are some of the people that you remove from the payroll. We try to enforce, or every time we talk about decentralization, and I believe that if the administration of personnel is not decentralized, you're still going to have big problems. The thing for is that I come from Wera. It's a public high school in Wera. As a senator, even the PTA, they don't even know who are the teachers, who are the personnel that should be at that school. So if you hire a teacher, and you send the teacher there to the school, or maybe the teacher doesn't even show up, there's no way they're going to know. There's no way they're going to report that. And we also, as representatives and senators, want to be able to help investigate as to whether those individuals are at those schools. And this is why we've been talking about decentralization. Because if you continuously have a system only centralized, that everything people should come to Monrovia, I don't think it's ever going to work. You are doing your level best at this point in time, but you're never going to be there. I mean, you're not going to be there forever. Somebody else will come, just as somebody said there before. That's how you are sitting there. And like where I said, somebody said it before. So we are passing through. But the best way to do it, I think, is to decentralize the personnel management, whether at the local. And that's why this plenary is requesting you to submit lists of volunteer teachers by county and by school district or by schools. And I think it should even go beyond that by the protest. We should get the entire list of employees.
All right.
Yeah. The entire list, yes. Not just volunteer teachers. Because if I go to Wera and I go to Wera, I come from Wera, so I love to talk about Wera. If I go to Wera and go to Wera Public High School, I should be able to have a conversation with the people there to know how many teachers are employed, how many volunteers are there, how many janitors are there, How many clerks are there? So we would need that list, county by county, school by school, so that we can effectively exercise our oversight. But the way it's done in the education and health sectors, there's no way we can exercise oversight. And that's why the project has been emphasizing to you that we want this list detailed by county and by school.
So, Senator, let me provide information. Every county education office has HR officers that are responsible for the personnel management at the county level. So education is not centralized as it thing, because essentially the CEO is the education minister in the county, assisted by the DEOs. So they have the power to manage the education system in the county. So it's not centralized as it is. What we are doing is that we've identified a problem that we need to address. We'll put in the corrective measures and take corrective actions. But it's not overly centralized because they have auditors, they have M&E officers, they have personnel officers, all at the county level functioning. So it's not overly centralized. Maybe I misspoke. I can already clarify that.
Senator Taba, followed by Senator Boto. Your name on it.
Thank you, Protein, and thank you for the opportunity to delve into the most important sector of our country, the education sector. For me, I believe many of us here went to school in the rural area. And when I say rural area, not in county capital. But we came from those schools and came to the city and were able to compete. The issue of volunteer teachers would not have been an issue if the classrooms were not empty. I want to ask the Deputy Minister, I heard him mention something about a standardized teacher to student ratio at the ministry. Is that something that is on paper at the ministry or is in effect at the schools?
Senator, all the policies at the ministry are communicated to the county and the school level.
And they are effective because if the schools are not empty, people will not walk out of the community to go teach.
The issue of efficiency, that's why we grapple with every day. We're trying to strengthen the monitoring and evaluation regime. That's why I said we're going to be coming to request for funding to buy motorbikes for our DEOs and vehicles for our CEOs so that they're able to execute effective monitoring to make sure some of the things are curtailed.
And how is even your monitoring of your DEOs and CEOs effective from central office? Do you have monitoring of those who you assign in the county as to whether they are actually going? You mentioned the issue of logistics, but there were logistics in the past. Before now that you say the vehicles are, I agree, but this situation has been there. Some of the DEOs and CEOs that we're talking about even live in Monrovia, especially for counties are in the proximity of the city. How are you monitoring at that level? Because if you're not monitoring it, then their monitoring will also be impacted by their absences from the country.
So, Senator, maybe a couple of things happened in the past. We're trying to make sure what happened in the past that ill serve our students and our children do not happen again. The Deputy Minister for Instruction supervises the CEOs and the DEOs. They report to him directly. He pays periodic visits to the CEOs and DEOs to make sure he is also monitoring. And he also has staff in his office that are required to monitor the CEOs and the DEOs. So he has the monitoring regime from the center office to the county level is pretty robust. We have to now strengthen it from the county level, the DEO level to the schools. That's where we have the challenge.
Thank God the DMI is here. Deputy Minister, for one last one, you in Cape Mount. And what part of Cape Mount? Eh? Which other day and which school did you go to? Because I'm going to ask after this hearing.
Yes. I've been to Gresset.
When?
It was the beginning of this year.
This year?
Yeah, in February. I went to Gresset.
Uh-huh.
All right.
After I went to Besa, I was in Rawaspo with the CEO because when I went to Seye, he took me to Rawaspo before even the dedication of the road or breaking ground for the road construction. So it was just something like that.
That one you went for a program, I talking about monetary basics.
No, I went before the program.
Okay.
Okay. I've been in Nima many times.
Okay, so honestly, my colleague spoke about the issue of playing. Because, as Senator Connor mentioned, we've been grappling with the issue of volunteer teachers since after the war. Government come, government go, budget come, budget go, it still persists. Do you have a comprehensive plan, costed plan, with financial proposal, human resource proposal, that the Senate can look at over a period of time and say this year we'll resolve this, next year we'll resolve it, so that within the next 3 years, we can talk about volunteer teachers, because the volunteer teachers we're talking about, good that you people have vetted, but it's also creating problems in the educational system. People walk in the classroom and you yourself later before going through teachers' training. Not everyone who reads and writes is a teacher. You have to learn classroom management. Otherwise, you make students disinterested in even learning. So there's a serious issue that we need to find a way to end it, so that we can take it on to the next term again. Because the other day we all witnessed on social media the recruitment of AFL soldiers. People made fun of it, but it was just a demonstration of what we're going through in our education system. And I don't think you, the authorities at the ministry, were happy when people came presenting certificates as high school graduates, and many of them could not read third grade material at this time and age. So this is something that we as leaders should really take it seriously to bring it to an end. So I will actually advise you that if you have such a plan, we need to see it, so that not only the Senate, but leaders can sit around the table and discuss it and put it in faces, so that this can be resolved once and for all. Because everything, the development of this country is foundation on education. If we talk about hospitals, people have to be educated. We have to have doctors, good doctors, nurses, and health workers. Agriculture is the same. We're not going to jump over education and gain anything and achieve anything in our development plan. So education is serious. It is serious, and we have to take it as it is. I mentioned from the onset that we went to rural school. At that time, I don't know what the budget was. Today, the budget has increased. We all celebrated 1.2 billion and probably more. Let's celebrate changes in our schools and in our hospitals. But every time we see we go around the same thing, it persists. It doesn't really demonstrate good leadership. And I trust this thing, when the minister took over, she went on a county tour and a lot of things were uncovered, including teachers' inability to read. If a teacher can't read, you will have the people that show up at the AFL recruitment. How are we trying to end it? Every time we debate budget, we give money, we come by the C system. Let us come up with a practical means by which we can bring this to a closure. Otherwise, we'll continue to be where we are. And honestly, as policy makers and as public sector servants, we should reach to the point where my child can go to the public school and I'm happy. Until that is done, we haven't achieved anything. Thank you, Madam President.
Senator, thank you. I think I agree with you 100%. And the Ministry of Education finally is excited that the Senate is now willing to work with us to put an end or find lasting
We've
solutions.
been waiting long time, not just now. That's why we have been increasing education budget every year since the 55th legislature.
Yeah. So we see how we're going to work together to solve the issue of volunteer teachers in our classrooms. We think it is about time that we work together to get that done. Any plan that is required for us to work together to make this happen, the Ministry of Education family is willing and ready to provide the plan.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Senator Poto, followed by Senator Topo. Yeah, Mr. Minister. We have two more senators. So the list is Senator Poto, Senator Topo, Senator Jala, Senator Batikwa. Yeah, Mr. Minister. Today we are speaking about volunteer teachers. But I am talking about my county because my county is one of the vulnerable counties that the senator spoke of. Mr. Minister, are you aware of retired teachers teaching stay in the schools in Babolu County?
Senator, I'm not aware. That report hasn't reached my desk.
No, it will not reach your desk because you are not concerned. Yeah. Mr. Minister, we are talking about qualification. And again, we are talking about high school students, high school graduates, helping us in the county because they are the one helping us to do our teaching for the children. Now we're talking about qualification. And you are saying that people are going to start the monitoring and evaluation in the counties. I believe we need to encourage the high school students that are teaching our children to encourage them because some of them don't have money to advance their education. But the Ministry of Education can encourage them, at least send them to the technical schools to get their C certificate or B certificate. That's an advice to you. Because for Babolu County, majority of the teachers are high school graduates, high school students. Knowing that, give me your phone now. Maybe they're in control room.
Knowing that.
Knowing that the teaching fee is passion. If you don't have passion, you cannot teach. So these high school students helping our children, we need to encourage them, as I said. And in Babolu County, you talk about the politicians constructing schools. The politicians do not just jump up to construct school. They are looking at the distances the children can go to school. Like, for example, in the one place they call Bomboma, the students leave, they wake up by 3 o'clock and walk 4 hours to go to Lotkari. Why you think we are leaders representing our people cannot be encouraged to construct school for our children? Please look in that direction too. We are not just doing it because we want to do it. We are doing it because we are in sympathy with the children. And we want to encourage them to go to school. You walk 4 or 5 hours. Sometimes you can stop on the way. You say, I'm tired today. And we want the children to be educated. Look at the distance that I'm talking about. We need to encourage our children to, at least the ministry need to get buses for some areas. Go and access some areas that are far away to go. And we see to it that we can get buses at least to encourage the children to go. Some children want to really go to school, but because of the distances and they don't have parents on the other side to stop with, that is why they can wake up at 3 o'clock. Like, look at Nomo Datenu. People living from Nomo Datenu. Minister Foley knows the area. We don't have school in Nomo Datenu. People will leave from there to come to Kumbo, 9 hours. Sometimes they will come and spend time with their people. And with people. But then sometimes the people, they are not encouraged to be there. So no more that, I'm encouraging you to please construct a school, because that's a border area. It is bordering Sierra Leone and Liberia. We need a school there. It is very, very serious. And again, what a room for now. The teachers that are on payroll, they abandon the schools. Not that they are abandoning the schools, but because maybe the salaries are not encouraging. That I can say. And in Gbapolo, majority of the teachers are complaining that they have their BSc, this and that, but they are underpaid, they are paid like the others. Are you addressing that issues? I cannot be a BSc holder, then taking C certificate money, while the C certificate taking the same amount. You need to address it. Right now, it's happening in Takwema. So don't say your people have addressed that. No, it is. One Mr. Toure is a BSc holder and taking C certificate money. That's a serious thing in our county. And as I said, I'm advising you to encourage the high school students in Gbapolo County. One teacher, 10 classrooms. And the volunteers, they are paid by the parents. One volunteer teacher told me that they are paying a $350 librarian, $350 labor tip. He asked me, what do you think I can do? I said, that's the passion you have for the students. So continue your work. So, Mr. Minister, I'm begging you, Gbapolo is crying. They don't have teachers. So please see in that direction. Talk to the CEO. Let them, as you are saying, you are going to bring budget for bikes and things. Let us struggle. The dry dog is sweet, but what you'll be eating before the dog get dry. Let them monitor the schools and see how best we can educate, give our children good education for tomorrow. Jewa Senator Vabla said it was a disgrace for what happened during the AFF recruitment. Amen, for God's sake. For me, I'm a common driving seller, but I think I'm better than those that went to high school. So that's an advice to you.
Thank you, Senator. And I appreciate the passion you have for our children and for the education of our children. And we've taken notes.
Yeah, so
we should talk about teachers.
I think it's just a very strong comment. You know, come on, Travis, you are the senator of Gbapolo County of the Liberian Senate. We will hear from Senator Topo, followed by Senator Jala.
Thank you, Madam. Distinguished Senator. I just want to say first that for the record of the public, and I spoke with Senator Dillon. I think you're going to be conservative on the numbers. You didn't add the 7.3 million for the supplemental budget to increase the education budget to more than 168 million. So you added 7.3, that is far above that. I'd like to ask the minister acting in 2025, there's a $4 million that is on your budget line. It's an other compensation. What was it meant for? In 2025 fiscal year, in the major education budget, there's a $4 million It's other compensation. What was he addressing?
So that I have to see that to address it.
You have not seen that?
I have to see that to address it.
On the 2025 budget, Ministry of Education.
Yeah,
So please check that. The $4 million that I want to know is the other compensation. What did he do with it?
I will address that.
Thank you. The report that you've given us here, I was looking at here, the other side of close my file. Is it from the counties that we come from, that we represent? Or was it just done at the Ministry of Education Central Office? They want to talk about the chairs that you gave out, the number of volunteer teachers. Did it come from the DEO for each school district to the CEO and then to the instruction man before coming up, or it just came from your EMIS?
Senator, there's no way we can sit at the Ministry of Education and determine what happened in Konobo or in Fishtown. We have to rely on the principals at the school level, the DEOs at the district level, and the CEOs at the county level. So the report starts from the principal to the DEO and the CEO. It rolls up to the ministry and it forms part of the EMIS system. So that process is decentralized, Senator.
Okay, so I'm saying it because I'm doing my citizen engagement along with my fellow senator who will be telling our citizens that the number we got it from this CEO standing before us.
Yes.
And this DEO, right?
You'll be correct.
Thank you. I'd like to know, I'm driving on something, distinguished senator, because we've been talking about education thing, and I think that if the institute that we're working with, if it is not effective by itself, then all what we're saying here would not be a good thing. How do you make decisions at the Ministry of Education? Is it bottom to top or top to bottom? Just instructions that we receive from the top, or you allow views that come down from the DEO, CEO, and going all the way to, the Ministry office? I need to know.
Senator, the way it works, the principals are at the lower operation level. They are interfacing with the students on a daily basis. The DEOs are their supervisors, and then the CEOs are the supervisors of the DEO. So we make decisions at the granular level concerning the counties. At the Ministry of Education Central Office, we have senior management meeting. That's where all of the major decisions are made. There's no centralized decision making at the Ministry of Education. It's all decentralized according to the way I have explained it to you.
According to the educational law, you should have a county educational board. That is missing in what you just said. I mean, you have not established the county educational board yet.
Senator, we have the county school boards. We have the county school board, and we have the education advisory board, according to the education law we established that.
For River County?
We have county school boards.
For River County?
For all the counties. We vetted across all the counties.
So can we know them?
Yeah, we can provide the information to you, Senator.
We need to know them.
Yeah, we can provide the information to you.
And the SOP, whatever procedure.
There are rules specifying the 2011 Education Reform Act.
No, maybe you have changed it because you changed the law already by appointing CEO. So I want to go by that. I want to see what you have done. So you already changed the law. Thank you. I go for the protein. The educational management information system, is that what you have? Emails?
Yeah.
Go. Is that where you put all your data?
That's where we store our data.
But I see no data there.
Which image you're looking at?
Ministry of Education website. The only thing I see there is the school census for 2022.
What? Sorry, that means you are looking at the annual school census. You are not looking at the image.
I go in your emails because the reason I asked the question was that the Minister of Education came here before us last year, gave us some report here, and told us that we're going to find it on the site. It's going to be uploaded, that we will sit right on our computer and know how many teachers in River County, how many volunteers, and so forth. Those data will be there. She came here. That's why I asked the question.
Sorry, I think she fulfilled that promise by putting the annual school census on the website. You're not going to be able to enter the Ministry of Education image system because
the annual school census on the website is 2022. We are in 2026.
I mean,
There's a
Senator,
report, because what we want to know is that that's not private information to know how many teachers.
no, it's not private.
But
So
it's not on your side.
we'll make sure it's there because we conducted the annual school census already. But what you are not going to be able to get into is the image system.
Yeah,
it has to do with data integrity.
It should have an output. So
yeah, so we'll put it. You are right. We should put it on the website. It should be available to everybody.
Obviously. I'd like to say something when I put in. I have the Excel project assessment report. But when I put in, it will be difficult for us to get the meat of the discussion on Excel if we don't request for the strategic plan. The reason why we took the money, they have to give us that plan. Why we took the money and what we still want to do, then we can match it with any other thing. Other than that, they will be giving us what they want to give us. I mean, no disrespect to the ministry, but they should have a plan. There's a reason why that document is there. And I want to make a request to you about a protein that the ministry gave us the plan. No matter how big
include that.
it's just one company to get the protein office. The detail of that plan, they will know exactly what is here and be able to assess it. Other than that, it will be a problem for us. The last question I want to say, in terms of the ministry of education, you see, the reason I asked the question as an answer is that I want to know the level of coordination. That's why I asked on the $4 million. Okay, you are the Deputy Minister for Administration. You run the budget, you run the activities. You have the minister, you have the one for instruction. Some of the instruction thing we're asking, which have been asking Minister Fode. Is that Fode, yeah? Yes. You'll be asking him on instructional issue, and you run that. I just want to know the level of coordination. I have a doubt. Let me say it publicly that there is a lack of coordination in the ministry of education. I have a doubt. I mean, you can say what you want to say to me, but I have a doubt. Because that I asked a specific question on the $4 million, and you can check your record and come back. Because other compensation fall in your budget, you should make a decision along with your minister on how it was done. Because we're talking about volunteer teacher for 2025. So I just asked that question when I put in is what elephant in the room in issue education, and we should go deeper. Thank you.
Senator, well, I cannot say you cannot have your doubts, but what I can say is I will have a very cohesive and strong team at the Ministry of Education working together. Everybody is allowed to perform. We all have individual roles specified, and we're performing our duties accordingly. The issue of the $4 million, I didn't delve into it. It doesn't mean I don't have the authority to manage that. I have the fiduciary responsibility for the ministry. The Assistant Minister for Fiscal Affairs reports to me directly. So I don't know what is the source of the doubt, and I cannot say you shouldn't have it, but I can assure you that we are working cohesively and all is well at the ministry.
All right. Senator Chala, followed by the last senator to speak, Senator Batikwan.
Thank you, Proton. Time being fast spent. All voting comes on end. So I will just ask a single question unless there's a follow-up. Mr. Minister, all this thing we're talking about migration by teacher to other sector or from county to county, it boils down to bread and butter. What is the basic salary of your teacher at the elementary level, the junior and the high school level respectively? What is the take home? What is the gross? And maybe you take home, but the gross, what is the gross take on the salary?
Senator, when we took over, teachers were making, some teachers were making less than $100. Some were making less than $125. To date, the minimum salary a C certificate holder is getting is $185, and it goes across. All of the teachers do not take the same pay based on your credential and your level. So no teacher is making less than $185 in the country at the moment since we took over.
As a gross?
Yes, sir.
So what is the qualification for 185?
C certificate.
What does that mean? High school graduate?
No, you went to teacher training school and you obtained a C certificate.
That Yeah, what is the minimum academic standard to acquire a C certificate?
Senator, you and I know that elementary student will not pass the rigors of the teacher training school. So that is not possible. At the minimum, you have to be able to.
I mean, you question the senator judgment. If you say you and I know.
Oh, I take it back, Senator.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No, I just want to know the minimum academic standard to warrant you going for C certificate.
Senator, you have to be at least a high school graduate to go to get C certificate. High school C certificate are allowed to teach at the elementary level. We believe a properly trained C certificate holder is able to teach at the elementary level.
So the college graduates can be a C certificate?
It's up to them, but college graduate can go for a B certificate. And if you got college,
What is the salary for B certificate?
Said I don't have that number off here right now.
No,
but
so you don't want to say it's a shimmy. For you to tell me that even someone paying $185, even for elementary school teacher, it's a problem.
Said that we would love to have the money that will push all the people to at least 250. But the appropriation power doesn't rest with the Ministry of Education. It rests with the Senate. So if the legislature provides the money, we're willing to pay our teachers.
The legislature can only do the appropriation if you have a plan to present. Plan comes with costing, and the costing comes with budgeting. Yeah. So yeah. So that's talking down on the legislature. That's arrogance. If you have a plan, like we're saying, we're having the hearings. Yeah, we're having the hearings to help the sector and to help the country. It is your duty to present a plan to the legislature and push for the budget that you want. We cannot sit here and know what you want at the ministry to standardize education. And that's why we're having these hearings. So you answer the questions in the manner so we all can get help as a country.
Let me exhaust my time, please.
Yeah, I beg you, there are information because this is a public hearing. When information like that goes in the public, that it rests on the shoulder of the administrator, that's wrong also. In addition to what Madam President just said, it is the executive that drafts this budget and brings to us. They have a window, they have a space, a fiscal space that they put every one of you in. They put the 100 or 185 there. If we are unable to find additional revenue here, sometimes it makes it difficult. So you can just share the blame on the legislature. You are a member of the executive, right?
Yes,
you go to finance ministry for budget hearing, right?
Yes, budget.
What did the executive think about the salary structure?
Senator, we have advanced the issue.
And then you cannot bring it to the legislature because even you, the executive, did not agree on that to bring here. And when you narrow us into a small fiscal space where we have all the priorities, it is only fair sometimes to go with your will or we'll add something to it. So it's your problem too.
Okay, Senator.
So the concomitant to that is, I asked the question because someone told me this the last time when I was in Lofa that people were making, I think, $100 or $150. Now, I don't care what your level is. If once you are a teacher, the decency of that work, it depends on the minimum wage. And it's very important for us as a public service advocate to try to look into this. Because I remember when I graduated from college as a teacher at the university, not even a full teacher, just an assistant. My salary was $500 in gross. My ticket was $425. It was US. So when I see every teacher crying for like $1, I mean, it disturbs me. My first salary was $425 US when I went to the National Bank to cash my money. I was just having my friend and it was too much for me. So what I'm saying is that the programming of your plan to induce the Senate to give you the minimum wage, the minimum wage bill for teachers has to come from a lot of activities from those who plan. It's very important because this is all about, it's a two-way. Even if we can't meet you halfway, if you want 400, maybe we can't give you $250. It makes a lot of sense. This legislature is people sensitive. It's people sensitive to wage earnings. So please take that, as a cardinal takeaway from this hearing. What can we do to encourage, the wage bill, the minimum. I thank you, Pro Tem, for the time.
Thank you, Senator. I'm taking notes.
All right, thank you. So we will close with Senator Batikwa. The Secretary of Senate, please take note that to solve some of the problems when it comes to help with increment of salary, we also have to consider the audits. I don't know if the ministry has done any audits, personnel audits and all that, because there are a lot of gaps here that we need to deal with. So just take note as part of our next agenda item for the Ministry of Education. Yeah.
Madam President, thank you very much for the time. Lastly, let me just ask the few concerns I have instead of just nothing, so it can be easy. Mr. Minister, do you have the listing of the schools that you renovated per county? You just put number, and I want you to disprove that I know about only 3 schools that were renovated, but your number is 5. So I want to know those 5 schools that were renovated. That's number 1. Number 2 is, are teachers still being paid through mobile money, which is one of the problems in Grand Crew, because as soon as the teachers are put on payroll, they come because their money went through mobile money. The people don't track them again. Are teachers still being paid by mobile money? The third one is the criteria that you say you have in the determination of schools that benefit from the FLP, the ALP. What harm does it make if every school, every county has a sample or a ballot that will be referenced when you are referring to considering all the other schools in that county? What harm does it cause? My second to the last is, how many teachers did you put on the payroll 2025? We want that list so that we know the progress we made in addressing the volunteer teacher in 2026. Are you aware that some teachers' pay is not regular? So teachers, when they get paid May, June, they will not get paid. And they will complain. The HR that you talked about in the county, at some point in time, called me several times. I called the Minister of Finance, the people complain they can't get that pay. It's staggering. Their payment is staggering. That's the situation that you have to look at. So, do you still have in-service program that teachers are using to leave the county? They say they go for school. Do you still have in-service program? Do you have a policy on it, the procedure to follow to be qualified for in-service? And then lastly, does your in-service program also cover master's program? These are the few concerns I wanted to raise.
Thank you, Senator. Let me take the questions from the back. We do have in-service program, and no, the in-service program does not cover master programs. Master's programs are covered on a scholarship programs. So we don't have that. The issue of irregular payment, yes, we've had some problem with irregular payment. It is not necessarily always the making of the ministry. Sometimes the IFNIS system used by the Ministry of Finance can cause problems, particularly when they were migrating to a new system. We had a lot of challenges with our teachers pay not getting there on time. We also have a situation where some of the teachers change banks, and then they find it difficult to reconcile the new bank account with the IFNIS system so that their pay can go into their accounts. So there are several factors that can cause that. We've been working with them. Currently, we are working with the Ministry of Finance, the Development Planning, GAC, and the CSA to make sure we rectify that problem and eradicate it once and for all. So yeah, there is a problem, but we are taking steps to resolve those problems. And on the issue of the list of VT, but yes, we'll have it as the Senate has required. We're working on that. On the issue of whether the pilot program being across the entire country will cause harm. I don't think it will cause harm. The program just wasn't designed to perform that way. On the names of the schools,
Renovated.
on the names of the schools renovated as the Senate has required, we will be able to work on those.
Provide a list. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Whether teachers are being paid through paper money, we realized that that was causing a problem of accountability because they could get their salaries anywhere. We're all having to account. We've tried to move everybody to bank accounts to get their pay through direct deposits. Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you, Senator. The two deputy ministers will follow up on the other listing or the information that you didn't present. The Secretary of Senate will follow up with you on that. But the latest one that we are requesting is the entire teachers listing per school. The entire teachers listing per school. And you will do an official communication for that. An official communication per school, per county, per district. The entire teachers listing. So you will stay on an oath as this hearing will continue. It's a long hearing. It might last until we get all of the answers that we want. So the communication will come today or tomorrow, and you will come back here with the Minister of Education. When is she due back in country? All right, thank you. So you're discharged, you can leave.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem, and thank you, honorable senators, for having us.
So they will present all of the information that we are asking for before the minister returns. So when the minister is here with the team, we have everything before us. So presentation should start by tomorrow. Yeah, latest Monday, Tuesday, we should have almost everything in here. Motion to adjourn. All in favor say yeah.